You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cricket Podcast, where it's a white ball special today. Unless your name's Sam Northeast and you got 410 runs, and that was very much a red ball special. But mainly we're going to be talking about the white ball special stuff. I'm Jack Hope. I'm joined by Ross Legg for the white ball special. By white ball special, Ross, we mean 50 over cricket. The unloved cousin of the cricketing world at the moment. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm very well, thanks, mate. The 50 over cricket is it's getting a bit of a battering at the moment, isn't it? It's the current proverbial dog that's being kicked by everybody, it seems. So looking forward to actually getting into it and seeing how worthwhile the format actually is in modern day cricket.
Yeah, so we're going to get through England v South Africa, the 1.5, 2.5 kind of games they played there. Might talk a little bit about the T20s. We've got actually some quite good cricket being played in the West Indies, between West Indies and India. The women are at it. Everyone's going at this 50 over stuff. It's just not cutting through, is it? Right up the top, we've got a special announcement, but we'll break that to you halfway through the show. Right at the top, just so you know, you should like and subscribe to this video if you're watching the video, or the equivalent if you're listening to the audio.
Mm-hmm.
Audio, listening to the podcast, listening. Jeez, I could just ended that with listening, couldn't I? And patreon.com/the cricket pod. Ross, myself, and Max, who isn't here for this show, but will be joining us in about 25 minutes, are going to be recording a special Patreon exclusive episode. It's the quiz. It's the biannual quiz, Ross v Max, the bilateral series which matters. That's how we've been billing it.
Mm-hmm.
Ross, I think you're winning quite comfortably, aren't you, over the history of the podcast? Do you think this is just going to be another win for you?
I think so. Like Max he's a bottom dweller, isn't he? He's nothing when it comes to bilateral series, and the champ is here.
So that'll be good. Patreon.com/the cricket pod. £4 a month. It's like the main thing that keeps us going, Patreon. So give us a hand. All in the show notes. Ross, do you want to really quickly summarise the 29 over-a-side match that happened? And then we'll talk about anything good that happened there.
Yeah, we can see that in the north of England on this graphic that you can see on the weather chart that it was raining. And there was more rain, a little bit of cricket, some more rain, and then it was abandoned at about 4 o'clock.
I was talking about the second ODI, but let's do the third one first, and we'll go back to the second one. No, you've done it now. You've summarised the game. Quinton de Kock was good.
Yeah, it was. 92 not out. England decided to... I don't know, it's a little bit strange, their field placings. Like even in the power play, it was rare that they had a slip fielder in. And there was a couple of chances that were, one of Moeen Ali and one of David Willey, that would have been regulation kind of first or second slip catches. And it's quite interesting to see the almost, the difference, I suppose, or the contrast between Bazball in Test match cricket, where the whole point is if you're struggling to take a wicket, add another slip in. Whereas in the white ball,
Michael Holding's dream world, isn't it?
Yeah, it was just like, can we have? Do you remember we played kids cricket, didn't we? And Martin Wilson was our captain, and he goes, "You just field wherever you think you should field." And then I'm pretty sure it was you turn around and go, "Right, everyone in the slips." And I think when he bowled a delivery, there was 8 people in the slip.
I think my recollection of that is that there was a hat-trick ball, and so everyone went into the slips. But Martin didn't have the gravitas to get people out of the slips. So once people had moved there, that was it. That was the game. I see what you mean.
It's a bit of a strange one, and I'm not sure if it's kind of Mott's new approach and kind of saying, well, actually, look, if we look at the data, Quinton de Kock is not going out that often here. So actually, why are we wasting a fielder there? He should probably be at short cover or something. Or if it's just a little bit of kind of tentativeness, I suppose, England being on kind of the receiving end of a bit of a rollicking at Durham.
It could be a bit of both. They did bowl out South Africa in the second match for 83, so maybe they wanted to give South Africa a chance. You haven't factored that into your analysis there. Do you know what I'm going to admit to? I think I was playing cricket. I didn't watch any of this. No, I was playing football. I would have caught the second innings. When I saw it was rained off, I was quite happy. We'll do the next ODI and then we'll talk about whether ODIs are worth it anymore. But this one was pretty low down my list of priorities yesterday. I'll be honest. On Friday, they had a match again, didn't they? It was rain affected again. England, when they got to the bit where they played cricket, batted first. They had 29 overs. They got 201, which was an okay score, maybe not amazing. Although, no, I think it probably was an okay score. I think in the conditions, it was a pretty good score. They bowled out South Africa for 83. It wasn't too much of a contest. South Africa at one point, Ross, were 6 for 4. That's not a good start to a 7 and over run chase, is it?
Well, Don Topley, the second junior, is he's pretty good, isn't he? In this cricket, like he's really hit a purple patch of form, and the tattooed Surrey giant is ripping through. And I just think it's a good sign. I think England do struggle both or in the bowling department at the moment, and Reece Topley is stepping into the void quite nicely.
Yeah, I think it's encouraging to see a bowler for England do well. Now England, me and Dan on our last show talked a lot about their batting without really talking about what their best bowling lineup would be. I think Topley and Rashid are both in the best bowling lineup. I think Moeen Ali and Livingston, it seems like they're going to continue that experiment. I think on the batting side, it leaves England a little bit fragile, but there's some more overs there, basically. And then it leaves, I don't know, Wood and Archer to come back in, or Wood and Wokes, or Archer and Wokes. And actually that then starts to look like a functioning bowling attack, doesn't it? I think I think England really needed that as well. Because to hope, to basically just cross your fingers and go, let's hope that all of these really injury-prone players are all fit for exactly when we need them in 12 months' time. Wasn't maybe the best plan, and now they've got room in that 11 to have a bit of rotation. And Topley himself being a left-arm bowler, and being able to affect the game is okay at the death, isn't he? Him being in there just on merit, it gives England a little bit of wiggle room, I think, in an area where they've been quite bad for a couple of years.
Yeah, I think so. I don't mind David Willey. I think David Willey's a perfectly capable cricketer. I think he offers, again, it's that classic bit of, he offers probably quite a lot with the bat. Sam Curran obviously offers quite a lot with the bat as well in recent form. So there is a little bit of depth that is starting to reappear, but I'm not sure you really want to go into an ODI World Cup with Willey, Curran and Topley as your 3 frontline kind of seamers, do you?
Yeah, I think Topley's building a case that he should be in the team as a frontline bowler, and that he doesn't need to be a batter to cover that off, or to do anything else. Because Wokes can bat, or because Archer can bat enough, and because Rashid can bat enough, that's sort of okay. Like he can get in. I think the race for that final spot, though. I mean, who's in not the final spot, but for the other spots. So, Wood can't really bat, but bowls very, very fast, doesn't he? So that's quite useful. Wokes, very good power play bowler. Is he as useful later in the innings? Maybe not. There's some injury issues there. He'll be a little bit older. It'll be in India. So there's some, there's a list of queries. Then you mentioned Curran and Willey as 2 other very good bat plus ball options, but maybe not as good with the ball as well. As Wood and Topley. What would your dream bowling order be for England?
I think it's quite a challenging one, and I think obviously Archer is there. I really liked Saqib Mahmood last year. I thought he played really well against Pakistan, and thought he did quite well. But again, didn't quite cut the mustard. Like Mark Wood definitely ahead of him. Jofra Archer definitely ahead of him. Adil Rashid's one of my favourite cricketers. Like he's definitely in there. Again, Reece Topley, is it just a bit of a flash at the moment? I'm not too sure. Yeah, like so people go through these phases, right, where you're just like, oh my god, this guy's the best thing since sliced bread, and you give him an opportunity on a bigger stage, and maybe it falls down. But at the moment, he's battling as well as he possibly could do. Right? I think in this cricket, you like someone who can control it. Do England have a kind of someone like Mohammed Shami or Bhuvi Kumar to kind of try and do that up front? that's probably the Chris Wokes role. And so Chris Wokes is probably in my team filling out that kind of that quad bowling lineup, I think, Jack, with Moeen Ali and Livingston around, and even Sam Curran on us, depending on the pitch and conditions that you're playing in.
Yeah, encouraging signs anyway for England bowling point of view. Batting, they're bowled out for the 5th time in a row. That's quite funny. I don't know what they'll do about that. I don't know if they actually even really care. Ross, do you care about ODIs anymore? I mean, everyone. This has been the other thing, is that this was one of the topics we wanted to talk about. Everybody has been piling in. Ram Prakash was at it today. All the other podcasts. Sky, like in the middle of a game, middle of a 50-over match, having discussions about what the whole point of the format was. We're through the looking glass. People have lost their minds. Are you? Where do you sit on the let's get rid of 50-over cricket question?
I think people need to chill out. Like it's just annoying. It's like a bit like when in football commentary, or if it's cricket commentary or whatever commentary. If someone says something at the start of the day, what you'll start to see is that nearly every other commentator will almost start to repeat that narrative, and it becomes a bit of an echo chamber. And it's that bit where, because there's so many interviews now and there's so many podcasts, and everyone's trying to get a bit of a soundbite and be like, oh, I've got to have an opinion on this. That you just get this regurgitation of like, I've got the big solution, and whether it's Mark Ramprakash or Butcher or whoever, I'm just a bit like, lads, like, it's okay for now. Like, cricket does not have to be in a crisis. For the last 12 months, people have saying England are the shittest test cricketing nation in the world. We need to redo all the red ball cricket. It's an abomination. We suddenly become relatively good at that overnight somehow. And now Test cricket is absolutely fine. And we don't need to worry about that. It's the healthiest it's ever been, other than Ravi Shastri saying it should go down to 6 nations who are only playing it. And now we've gone, oh, we can't have a go at T20 because that's the thing that everyone makes money on. We can't talk about the 100 because we've just got a new TV deal for that. And I want to make sure I'm part of the commentary team. So what am I going to kick? And the ODI is going, oh, we've been relegated to the Royal London One Day Cup piece and some second string 11s. And then amazingly, the likes of Krunal Pandya and Pujara, etc., are going to play in it. And you're just a bit like, why do we have to criticize? Like, why does it have to be that something is getting in the way? And I just think, it's a little bit frustrating for me.
Yeah, I think with ODIs, I think there are valid criticisms about the structure of it and the calendar and the role, the way it fits into things. I think kind of by its nature, and the same for T20 cricket as well, actually, if it is played in a vacuum, it can be quite boring and it can feel quite pointless, because unlike a test match where over 5 days, generally what you get is a winner that deserves to be the winner. Everyone gets 2 goes. The conditions change. It's all this, all these different factors. It's a test of all these different skills. And generally speaking, the best team, or at least the best team in those conditions, will come out on top. In ODI cricket and T20 cricket, that isn't always the case. And I think to some extent, going in knowing that devalues it slightly, especially if you're not playing for a cup, for a tournament, for any sort of real glory. I mean, like England v South Africa, these ODIs, they are literally for nothing.
Oh, no, I agree.
There's the only, I don't know, maybe to go a bit deeper than that, maybe they're there so that in a year's time, 18 months time, in India, the teams kind of roughly know who their 11 should be. But like, it does, as a product to view for 8 hours, is that something that is super exciting?
I agree with that, the scheduling point. And you've seen that it's pretty much caused Ben Stokes to retire from a format that he was relatively useful in, as demonstrated in the World Cup in 2019. But again, the relevance of it has died off because there hasn't been the glory, right? The glory surrounding it. Like, you don't care if you win a bilateral series against West Indies or India or South Africa at this point in time. You care about if you win a World Cup. Yeah. And that jeopardy and that consequence isn't quite there, regardless on these games. Yeah. But there is a little bit into it as well that England are not winning at the moment, and all of a sudden it's a real problem for world cricket. And I'm a little bit just like when we won the World Cup, we were just like, this is bloody brilliant. Of course it is.
I think that's partly true, but South Africa also pulled out of a series in Australia, didn't they? Which might actually put their World Cup qualification in jeopardy. The West Indies struggled to put out their front 11, particularly regularly, sort of going through the cycle. I don't know. I think there's a few teams that don't take ODI cricket particularly seriously. I mean, in my mind, I think put the world what's it called, the Champions Trophy back in, have a World Cup every 4 years, and then at least when the players turn up, there's a narrative around who's going to make the tournament squad. Like at least there's something like that. The problem if you go 4 years between the only reason you play the format, then, well, I mean, the problem with that is that there are going to be like extended periods where the players know that they're not playing for anything, not even in terms of a position at a tournament. The fans know that there's no narrative building. We don't really care who's winning. We don't know who the best team in the world is. And then, 6 months before a World Cup, teams sort themselves out a little bit. There's probably enough cricket played as a whole to work out who should be in your 50 over side. Trim it down a little bit.
I think that's fair.
Put another tournament in every 2 years. Not a big one. The Champions Trophy, what was that? 2 groups of 5, so four competitive ODIs there, semi-final and a final. And then you'll get a little bit of a sense. You don't need to be playing 15 ODIs a year to work this out. The reason people were doing it in the past is that's how boards made money. That's appears to be less and less the case. So, lose those ODIs, play some T20 domestic cricket, support you, make all the boards or make all the boards self-sustaining that way, but give boards another avenue to make money that isn't pointless bilateral cricket, and reinforce your World Cup, reinforce your Champions Trophy, and give meaning to the cricket that way is what I would do.
Yeah, and again, I'm never averse to change. Like that's I work in change, right? But there is a piece around ODI cricket has been really important for the developing nations, and sometimes we forget that it's not just the main kind of 5 or 6 nations that do play. But you are right in saying that its significance in the calendar at the moment and its purpose might be questioned. But I do think the naysayers that going it's a completely dead format, we need to get rid of all of it and that kind of stuff is just a bit too extreme. Yeah. I think your point around we need to make it we need to up the quality of the product so people are actually looking at it, engaging with it is exactly the right attitude, I think.
I think you do that through the World Cup and something else. The Cricket World Cup is a really good tournament for nations that don't have big test rivalries. It's the biggest cricket tournament. It's what I would say. You've got the Ashes. You've got when India play Australia and England, and to some extent, England v West Indies is probably, maybe not on a par, but it sells tickets, doesn't it? Right. South Africa v Australia is quite big. India, Pakistan, if it happened, would be bigger than the lot. Yeah. But there are a lot of nations where the 50 over World Cup is sort of like the biggest thing you can win in cricket.
Yeah. Sri Lanka are turning up being just like, come on, lads, this is it.
Yeah.
Bangladesh as well, but
Ross, I think that's ODI cricket. Anything else about England you want to say? They're playing some T20s.
Yeah, then we're building up to the World Cup. Again, like England's side doesn't fill me with that much confidence, if I'm perfect. I just think a few parts are missing and the injuries, etc., are making it a little bit difficult to be just like, well, we know that these players aren't probably going to be playing at the World Cup. But still, great experience and good to have the likes of kind of Richard Gleeson and whoever kind of playing for England. So we did a pretty good job last time out.
Yeah. It's time for a big announcement, I think, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. For people watching on YouTube, you probably have seen on the screen that we have a new sponsor. And we're happy to say, aren't we, Ross, that support for the Cricket Podcast on this episode and for the near-term future, anyway, is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family. I didn't read that very well, did I? We're good at ad reads. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. There you go. Better that time. Manscaped's performance package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer. And that offer is 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code CricketPod at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, Ross, 6 million men, that's about 12 million balls globally.
Give or take.
that have experienced the Manscaped situation.
Have you've got one, haven't you, Jack? Have you used it?
Yeah. I'm happy to say that I have. As part of this deal, Manscaped shipped us each a performance package. I opened mine, I think, last Thursday. Had a little go, and let me tell you, Ross. Me tell you, it arrived, and oh man, it's a game changer.
The performance package 4.0.
Inside the package, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, the Crop Preserver ball deodorant, the Crop Reviver toner, the Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold your goodies. And by goodies, that's not the balls.
The test. They come with their own bag.
They come with their own bag. This is to take care of the bag, basically. It does a very, very good job. I'm impressed. But when we got the deal, Ross, we when we do sponsorship, we like to plug products that we like, that we support. Did it with Serious Cricket in the past and so on. When we got the offer, we approached other men, didn't we? And we asked, have you heard of this brand? Do you like them? And we got some pretty good feedback from our cricket team. I don't know if we can name names.
Well, let's pseudonym them, slightly pseudonym them.
Okay, so Vikram from our from our cricket team, he was one of the guys who said, yeah, take this deal. It's really good. It's quite awkward, isn't it?
It's not something you typically talk around with, no. Lads. So can I just trouble you for 1 second to talk about your testicle hygiene? Maybe it would be better to get the opinion of the girlfriends. Maybe that's the way to approach it. Of being just like, right. do you prefer Vikram? The Vikram. This has gone off the
rails. This has gone off the rails. Anyway, look, the point of all of this long story, is that Bikram and his shaved testicles got 40 runs at the weekend. When asked, did the shaved testicles help you score the runs? He said it can't have hurt. We were supposed to include a personal story. It's not a personal story. It's a story about Bikram playing cricket. Yeah. But there you go. Ross, sounds like a good deal, doesn't it?
Yeah. But you thought that was good. But you want to take your grooming to the even next level. It also includes the nose trimmer, Jack, and the ear hair trimmer. So as we're getting older, we're in our 30s now.
Yeah,
that's becoming increasingly important because you do start to notice these things. The Weed Whacker is waterproof. It provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps reduce nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate nose holes. It was the crop preserver, you said, the deodorant and the Reviver ball toner.
Yep.
I think that fundamentally changes the way you approach your hygiene routine. And trust me when I say it, your balls will thank you. Manscaped even threw in a couple of free gifts, didn't they? The boxers and the shed travel bag. So you can take it wherever you like. You can be fresh for. Imagine you're working away. I work away all the time. If I didn't have a girlfriend who lives with me at home, maybe it would be a staple in my bag just in case.
It's time to take care of yourself. Go to manscaped.com and get 20% off, free shipping with the code CricketPod. That's in the show notes. You can go there, and we will tell more slightly
ball related
ball anecdotes as we go through the next month or so. There you go. Ross is holding very smooth ball.
A bit sunburnt.
Bit sunburnt. Ball care, it's important. Like, we know that. We're cricket fans. It is important. Sam Northeast got 410.
Yeah, what a beautiful transition. For Glamorgan against Leicestershire, there were so many runs hit, and it was staggering. And I mean, even going past 100 is a big thing, but to do that four times over, you're sitting there going, wow. And he's on loan, isn't he? Or recently transferred to Glamorgan for this year. And he was in England contention for a little while, Sam Northeast. Like it wasn't too long ago that he was going to be part of the top three, I suppose, and it didn't quite materialise. So this is pretty great for him to enter the annals of cricketing history, I think.
Yeah, it's an amazing score, isn't it? They won the match, didn't they? And this is really the question. So he gets 410 not out. They declare, they then do bowl Leicestershire out, 5 overs left in the day. So they, stay in the hunt for promotion. The question really is, though, is anyone going to care about that when he had a shot at 501?
Yes. For Glamorgan, at least they won. Like, at least we can look back on this declaration and be just like, do you know what? Even though there was already 1,200 runs, 1,300 runs that had been scored that match, the captain went, do you know what? I reckon we've got Leicestershire on the ropes here. They've been in the field for a while. They've just seen this guy batter them around. They're not going to be interested in saving this game. They're going to give this up, and they duly won with a few overs to spare. Like it was a good result. Glamorgan being promoted, having that opportunity to be promoted, I think is a great thing for Glamorgan if they get there. But everyone knows that cricket is about personal glory. If Sam Northeast tweeted that it was great captaincy decision, great declaration. If I'm Sam Northeast and you be the captain of I Don't Know Cricket Club, I'd be gutted if I was going for the Brian Lara's record.
I'd be a little bit disappointed as well. I'm not going to lie. Now that's a once in a generation opportunity, probably, and I mean that for all cricketers in the world. Mm-hmm. Like it's you're not going to get that many opportunities to get the 501.
No, and great for the average, right? If you dream of red inkers, 401 red inker, that is staggering.
I think it was the 9th best first class score ever. Yeah, we were pretty good. I mean, I want more, I think is what I'm saying. I am impressed. I wish it was better. Wish you scored more than 410, mate. Okay. That's that. In England, women
have you met Sam Northeast?
I have met Sam Northeast. Yeah.
Did he have the air of a person who would hit 410 runs and be okay with it?
I thought he was relatively mild mannered. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember him being a big time Charlie.
So he's not going to go in. He's not going to be sitting there in the chain and going, "I wish you didn't declare, mate." Or he's team man. I
don't think so. I heard that he didn't even do press afterwards. So obviously it was a bit, as domestic cricket goes, it was news. So people were like, "Oh, let's go and speak to the guy who's just got the 9th best ever scorer in first class cricket." And he just went to a barbecue instead with his friends. So I don't know. Maybe he couldn't face the press and was like, if I go there, I'm going to just say I wanted to get 502 and beat Lara. Or maybe he was like, I don't really care. And this barbecue's been in my diary for a while. Mm-hmm. The weather in Cardiff isn't always good enough for a barbie. So I'm going to
fill my boots.
Yeah.
Just like I did today. Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
I think England women, they're in action against South Africa. They've been basically pounding South Africa for 2 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
South Africa, they had like a little golden period, didn't they? Sort of last 18 months. I think they might be on the way down based on what we've seen. I know Liz Lee retired. I'm not sure they've had their full team the whole time as well. Cap's not playing today, for example. And England look to be building upwards, look to be going somewhere.
Yeah, there's been a bit of a change of the guard, right? At the top of the order, Tammy Beaumont's been jettisoned for Sophie Dunkley, who's done really well actually. I mean, she did get a first baller today, but around the intent has been good from England, and I think what you're starting to see here is the shift. And I'm not saying it would have started in the 100 last year, but you've seen the shift in the men's game. You've started to see the shift in the women's game, and actually the 100 can't have hurt that. And you've actually seen a couple of the players who made their debuts in the 100. Alice Capsey playing, she's hit 25 today, took her first wicket in the second T20 match. It's really positive for England's women's future. And I think that the South Africa team as well, like they're only going to benefit from playing these games, and we're going to see a few of them hopefully play in the 100 as well. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that. We want to wrap this up because we do have to record a whole other show. But India have been playing the West Indies, and they've been 2 quite good games, haven't they? What have you made of them?
Well, the India's captaincy roundabout continues, doesn't it? I think it's Shikhar Dhawan's now their 6th captain of the year. KL Rahul got COVID. But
I think it's the 7th international captain.
Is it?
Oh, the 8th captain overall.
Well, there we go. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That is staggering, right? But if you look at the way in which this has been approached, like West Indies they've done pretty well. And we were kind of saying that sometimes you don't get your best team out. They've managed. Both games have been really, really close. They've both times have hit over 300 runs. Both times have gone down to the final over. And when you start talking about the questioning of ODI cricket, like this has been good to watch. Our Discord channel has been blowing up and literally going onto it. 500 messages have passed going, "Shub goat," and you've got either the two types of fans who sit around. Sanju Samson has to be in the India side versus he should never be in the India side. I'm in he should always be in the India side camp, and he hit a 50. But what struck me is that the weakness of the West Indies spin bowling attack. I'm just not convinced by it at all, if I'm perfectly honest. And it's a big glaring error. And Akshar Patel duly took advantage of that. And Akshar Patel isn't the greatest hitter. I think he's a very good cricketer, as England fans well know. But he exploited that to the full extent.
Yeah, West Indies are a bit of a weird team, aren't they? I think it has to be said. Like there's some talented players in this 11, and then some players that basically can't contribute at all. But because of various selection restrictions,
the fitness test.
Well, it's the fitness test. People, I was actually sort of more like some people just don't really want to play for them. I don't think they field these. Yeah, they field these teams that. I mean, I'm looking at this lineup for the game the other day. Shai Hope, a pretty proven opener, I'd say, in ODI cricket. He's not super explosive, but he's a decent player. Yeah, so he's good. Kyle Mayer's all right, and then it's like borderline picks 3 and 4. Then Puran, he's a bit of he's a player, isn't he? Rothman Powell in this kind of number 6 role. I don't know if I absolutely love it. I think there's number 6 in ODI cricket. I think you need to be more than just a hitter. And then they tails off. It tails off really fast. With the ball, as you say, they've not really got anyone who can bowl spin. But at the same time, Jaden Seals is a very good bowler, like a very, very good bowler. Alzari Joseph's got a place in the game. Kyle Mayers isn't even that bad an option as a sort of Colin de Grandhomme-esque.
Oh, Collingwood, type guy. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's strange. They're going to have to go through the qualifiers, aren't they, to get to the next World Cup? And I think they might struggle with that because Ireland looked pretty good in their recent matches. South Africa likely to be in those qualifiers as well. It could be a real.
It could be better than the World Cup.
It could be. Yeah, Ross, we had a couple of questions on Discord.
Mm-hmm.
One from VJ. A very unrelated question. Do you think Pant will ever reach Gilchrist or Dhoni status? Especially in Test cricket, or is he already close?
Oh, that's a great question. I think it'd be really difficult for him to. You see different things in different players at obviously different times in the game, and what Adam Gilchrist did changed the way in which you perceived wicket keepers. I think that was huge for the game. Dhoni kind of changed kind of some of the approach as well on the India team, and just our coverage of the IPL shows. Right, he's a deity. He is a demigod. Will Pant get to that point? I'm not sure. Will Pant end up with a better Test record than Mahendra Singh Dhoni? Quite possibly. Actually, he's what, 23, 24? He's got a hell of a career to go. He's already hit some very important hundreds away. Will he beat Gilchrist's record? No, don't know. But yeah, we'll see. And that's me assuming that Gilchrist's record is better than Dhoni's, but that's just perception, and I can't say I've been and looked at the stats on that one.
I think Dhoni probably have him on ODI cricket, wouldn't he? And Gilchrist would have him on Test cricket, and Gilchrist.
Yeah, I was thinking from a Test perspective.
Yeah. Oh, right. If you're just talking about Test cricket, then it's Gilchrist is probably still ahead of both. Pant's certainly got a chance, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's brilliant. He's absolutely. And as again, I don't like the people who get really pissed off at Pant. Like, I love that Pant does the Pant stuff. Like, it is absolutely, it's box office, and that's what you want, especially in Test cricket. You want that kind of to happen. Whether he's a good enough T20 player, I'm yet to be convinced around that. I don't think that we certainly, from the 3 or 4 years that we've been following the IPL really closely, has Pant really done many things you've gone, oh fuck me, that is unbelievable.
Last year he was good. Like the 2022 he was good. But then the legend of punt, the 2015 to 2017, I think he was quite good as well. And then not a slump, but
he does play all the time. I think we've raised it on this podcast before. Like, you can only have Pant at certain points of the year, and he plays every game pretty much, it seems.
Yeah, it's pretty tough going. And then final question, and then we shall wrap up. Sudeep, who's obsessed with this guy. Thoughts on Shubgoat Gill being the future of Indian cricket? What's your crystal ball saying about Shubgoat?
I'm not sure he travels that well. If I'm perfectly, you've seen, like, he got out identical balls to Jimmy Anderson, which is fine. He's Jimmy Anderson, but at the same time, like, there's a lot to be improved on there. I think maybe in Indian home conditions, like, he'll be absolutely perfect opening the batting, but there's a long way to go for Shubman.
Yeah, I'll tell you what does travel well. The Manscaped Performance Package.
Oh, it's
shared travel bag. Look, we got through, I would say, the initial read, but it's going to be up from this point on. A final reminder: manscaped.com, 20% off plus free shipping with the code CricketPod in the show notes. Patreon.com/the Cricket Pod. We're about to go and record a quiz show, Ross v Max. Ross is really upset because he wanted to have dinner, and Max got stuck in Tesco's. So the rivalry is bubbling. Patreon.com.
Mind games. That's all that is. That's mind games.
Patreon.com/the Cricket Pod. £4 a month. From £4 a month. Get involved. We'd love to have you on board. Goodbye.
See you later.